Oh wait, we have to turn the music.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we can record with music on.
Oh, that sucks.
I guess we could.
Maybe we could do a little test recording and see if it sucks. Oh wait, we're gonna get taken off of YouTube if we do that.
All right, we'll just listen to music for later.
We can listen to our song.
Oh, you know what we'll do? We made a song.
We made a song.
It was just a song. I wrote some lyrics while Theo was in the shower, and then slapped together some loops, and then Theo recorded some backup vocals and textures.
And I gave some feedback and helped write
Creative consulting.
Yeah, kind of.
Should we play the song right now in post-production? Like
the whole song?
Like, all right, ready, guys? Here's the song.
We're just going to open the episode with making you listen to our song.
People say I'm dumb, but they don't understand me. Walk around at night with a Sprite, just eating candy. If there's cash on the line, I'm going maximum land speed. Write India ink while you're holding down Command C. Look back at my heroes that died in 2013. I still love so many people that tried to hurt me. Wonder if I'm gonna die in 2050. Life changed in a music club called the Mid-East. There's so many people I'll never see again. So many people now gone forever. If I could just reach out or just take your hand. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better.
And now it's 3 minutes later, and they listen to it.
Now we should do it again, but
You
have the
think they liked
director's
it?
cut where we talk over it and say what we
And
liked.
react to
Yeah.
it? I could airdrop it to you, and we could.
Wait, really?
Nah, actually, fuck that. They
That
heard
might be
it.
really annoying.
Yeah, it's okay.
I hope you liked it. Let me know.
Are you making a Facebook post?
Yeah. Like, a comment, and subscribe.
Do you think we can get to New Hampshire on a quarter tank of gas?
No. Do you have air in your tire?
Yeah. Should we get gas first?
Maybe.
I don't want to.
We should
I hate
probably...
getting gas.
Well,
It's 90 degrees out. I can't get gas. I'll get gas. Fuck it.
you might... Oh my god.
Does
You...
gas burn easier?
I was thinking the
when
same
it's
thing.
hot
I was
out?
like, you might explode. That's not real, though.
Can you imagine if that could happen? Like, it could be so hot out that your car could explode because it has gasoline in it?
I mean, that probably does happen, but not anytime soon.
Well, if you leave, like, a spray paint can, well, that's because it's pressurized.
Wait, what about...
Well, if you left, like, a can of acetone in the sun and it was, like, 100 degrees, would that... Well, that could cause a flash... Acetone can cause flash fires.
That...
Gasoline must not be a flash fire chemical.
Should I... There's...
Google, can gasoline cause a flash fire?
There's stuff in my car right now that maybe I should get out.
You mean spray paint cans?
Yeah. And
Uh,
maybe acetone, too. It's a box of art supplies.
I mean...
It's 90 degrees.
You have acetone in your car.
I don't know.
You don't have acetone in your car. You probably have, like,
Gamsol.
a tiny little bottle of mineral spirits. You'll be fine. Acetone is a completely different deal than mineral spirits. It's much, much more volatile and bad for you. You're fine, you're fine, you're fine.
Will you please put sunscreen on your arms?
I want a suntan on my arms.
But the UV index is 9 today.
Alright. Explain what that means now.
It means really bad. Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. I know that means that there's a lot of, like, UV exposure from sunlight happening. And that you will burn up to a crisp. UV index. I just want to... How do I Google, like, what the range is? Like, is it a scale of 1 to 10? Like, what does 9 mean? What level of UV is safe? Oh my god.
I'm in a
0.
complicated car puzzle
Dude,
right now.
The safe UV index is 0 to 2.
Okay.
3 to 7 means seek shade, slip on a shirt, slap on some sunscreen, and wear a hat. 8 and above means avoid being outside. Make sure you seek shade. Shirt, sunscreen, and a hat are a must.
So what the fuck does that mean for me? I don't have a hat.
I don't have a hat either.
I have hair.
That's not the same.
This is a terrible episode. I'm really stressed out about these cars.
Why'd you go to this gas station?
Because it was the fucking gas station directly next to me.
Dude, your gas cap is on the other side of the car.
It's on the left side. I'm gonna go where that girl is, getting into her fucking stupid Subaru. Get in the stupid Subaru, asshole.
Why is that guy waving at us?
Because I was blocking him, and then I had to move out of the way so we can go. So I think that was like a courtesy
peace-
thank you.
a
Like,
peace
hey,
wave.
sorry about that. Thanks for getting out of my way, dog.
Oh, okay.
Yo,
I
if this
didn't
girl
notice.
just sits and looks at her phone for a second longer,
How come your AC isn't working?
it is working. Make sure that little vent is actually pointed at you.
Oh.
Was it closed?
Yes.
All right, time to get gas.
It's still only very
Do you want to
little.
split gas since we're doing a little day trip?
Yeah, sure.
How should we do this?
Just put in whatever we need to put in, and I'll just give you half. On demo.
Okay. We'll see if that happens.
What the hell do you
Just
mean?
kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Do you think that when we use these mics, what are the odds that we're using the same mic every time? Like I'm using the one I always use, and you're using the one you always use, and we just don't even know.
Maybe we should put like colors on them, like little bits of nail polish, so we can tell the difference. And I'll have my mic, and you'll have your mic.
What benefit would that serve?
Then we can see whose mic lasts longer, and it can be a small like battle between
It
us.
can be a fight.
Yeah. See who's rougher on their mic, and we'll both remember and know.
So what's been going on with you?
Absolutely nothing, which is really refreshing. It's been the holiday.
4th of July just happened, and it was
We didn't do shit.
it
We
fucking
celebrated
rained.
by doing nothing.
It rained. It rained. It rained. It rained. Longtime listeners will know that we always are in the middle of a TV. Oh shit! Sorry, I'm feeling
Oh my god.
always watching a show. We're always in the middle of a show. This time, we are going full sail ahead, deep dive, speed run of Lost from 2004.
Love that fucking show.
And it's
Love it
really
so much.
fun because it's like, you know how people are always like, oh, The Sopranos was like the first like amazing serialized TV show. Like that's when the golden age of TV started, as Sopranos. And I'm like, sure. Yeah, okay. I've never even watched Sopranos, but
We
I'm
should
sure
watch that next.
I'm sure it was excellent. But it's kind of funny because watching this show, watching Lost, I expected it to be fucking trash. Like I was like begrudgingly agreeing to just watch a little bit of it with
I
you.
have to force you to watch anything that I suggest.
I
Anytime
was
I
like,
have an idea, you're like, no, I don't want to. I only want to watch my shows. I only watch historic fiction
You know what I
television.
do? Is I just always make you watch shows with me that I've already watched.
Yeah,
And I want to just watch them again with you.
yeah.
I don't like to watch things I haven't seen already.
And this time I made you do that. Except I haven't seen this since I was like 10. This was like my family's weekly release show when I was a kid. Because like how old was I in 2004? Probably watched it in like 2006 when it was
Whoa,
like...
you like, how old are you? I can't do math right now. I'm too tired.
In 2004?
Yeah.
I was 7.
Wow.
But
There's any
I didn't
old
watch
people
it.
That heard you say that and they're like, oh,
Maybe.
fuck. I was in college in 2004.
That'd be weird. College is probably so hard before you could like Google shit.
Before you just cheat the
Yeah,
whole
it
time.
sucks to suck.
There's probably
I
different,
didn't cheat.
probably different ways to cheat.
I have never cheated. I have just... Actually, I used to be one of the students that had like good grades, but it was because I would stay up until like 4 a.m. studying, like, and crying.
Do you remember like a month ago when everybody was like, wouldn't shut the fuck up about AI?
Oh my god.
And then that ended when the submarine got lost in the ocean.
Yeah.
And that it seemed like
Everybody was like, you know what, maybe we aren't that advanced.
maybe if the submarine was run by AI, it wouldn't have turned into a tiny piece of tin can.
If that is what happened, question mark?
I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. What happened is that they turned into red mist inside of a Pepsi can.
Yeah, but didn't they find like a big piece of metal from the submarine also on the ocean floor?
Well, you got to think there's probably parts of the vessel that wasn't pressurized, I guess. Like maybe there was like some exterior part that they found, but I'm pretty sure the part that was the internal chamber compressed.
I don't fucking know.
And
Yeah.
which means that when it compressed, maybe there are pieces that flew off of it,
Mm.
and the main part of the vessel is what turned into a soda can at a redemption center.
Oh my god.
Let's
What
go.
the fuck? How fast are we going right now?
70?
That guy on a motorcycle is like already gone out of our line of sight. Was he going like 150?
No, not 150. Easily over 100. Maybe 105,
What a
110.
crazy person.
Have you ever... Never mind.
Oh my god. Anyway, speaking
yeah.
of... Go talk about Lost again. What were we saying about Lost?
I want to say this. So my
Oh, what
impression
we
of
did
it
this
so
week.
far,
What we've been doing.
for anybody that hasn't seen Lost, whatever you think it is, it absolutely isn't.
Yeah.
Like, it's a type of show where it's like...
It evades
Like, imagine...
genre.
Like, I'm going to say this without spoiling it, even though it's almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
Um...
Wow, what the fuck?
Imagine if you just started watching a Western movie and then it turned into like a 1700s vampire movie right in the middle. And you were like, what? Wait, I thought I was watching Cowboys. That's like a vampire with a top hat. What the fuck? Like, and I mean, I'm not just necessarily saying it genre shifts, but it's like...
There's twists.
It's
there's
completely
reveals.
deceptive as to what it is trying to... And we're 2 seasons in, and it's 6 seasons long, and I still have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what the fuck I'm even watching. It's riveting, but I'm just like, I don't know. And what also is kind of nice is it's got that really absolutely egregiously cringy early 2000s vibe.
Yeah.
With the fashion and the jokes.
Some
and
of the characters, too.
The tone of the show. Yeah, like, it's got... there's like a racist bad boy guy.
Oh my god.
There's a Archie Andrews style Mary Sue idiot lead guy. There's a Megan Fox from Transformers styled girl's girl. I mean,
not girls.
Not girls. Opposite of girls.
One of the guys.
One of the guys. Girl.
She plays sports and always has the gun.
Like
but she also is in love with 3 different guys on the show.
Right. So it's
she's a criminal too.
And a criminal.
But she's a nice girl.
But she's misunderstood as well.
Yeah, she has freckles and she's like 5'5".
But
and she also kills people with her bare hands.
And can beat up anybody at any moment.
And never has an interesting line, ever. She's just always in the background going like, Jack.
Yeah.
It's like really annoying to watch, honestly.
So we got one of those. And all of these are mandatory Y2K movie, TV, and book or fiction archetypes.
Yeah.
Like, now, what are some hyper contemporary archetypes that you have to have in every show? I think one that most movies are putting into everything now in such a ham-fisted way is just like an androgynous young person with a weird name. They slap one of those into everything now. Even if it has nothing to do with queerness at all, they're just like, oh yeah, that's Tooth. And it's like,
Tooth.
It's like
I don't know about that.
Some kid.
That's a little bit too much realism, I think. That's too much queer realism.
But they do that. They have a character like that isn't queer. That's just like a random character.
It's just like the older brother character.
No. Like just like an ensemble of, like Marvel does that a lot, where they just throw in like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I sound like I'm being an asshole, but like, all right, what's another one to like? I don't know. Whatever. You don't got any?
No, I think that's the thing. I think though that like if I was watching a show where they had a character like that and their name was Tooth, it would be like actual representation.
Oh, I see.
It would be better writing than the way they do it.
You're saying that would be far fetched. Like then it would really be like, oh, that's Taylor.
Yeah, I think
something.
Taylor's a good one. Yeah, I feel like it's more common that it's like they don't acknowledge it at all, but the character has like really short hair and like wears like androgynous clothes, but is like
Right.
like a C tier character in the show. They're like the friend of the best friend or something.
Right. Interesting.
If we were watching some kind of like sitcom or something and there was a main character cast member that was non-binary named Tooth, I would love that show. That would be so
It might
good.
be kind of funny.
It would be really good.
Yeah. I don't think that... Is there a show, I wonder, out there where it's just like some kind of random character study type serial show where the main character is like some kind of abstract queer person? Like
Any show with a
just-
queer person is the main cast.
Well, not even just that, but just like, because like there's that trope that people talk about all the time when they talk about queer or any marginalized identity fiction, like centric fiction, is always like about that person coming to terms with their identity,
Yeah.
rather than their rather than them just like doing some
A queer person experiencing anything else.
like a queer person bank robbery show, I don't, or like a queer buddy cop, like a non-binary buddy cop movie.
I don't know about that
With
one.
like what's that lady with like Ezra Miller and Ruby Rose buddy cop?
You know what? I wonder if this exists. I feel like it might, but I'm just like so outside of the sphere. But is there like an Adam Sandler like dad movie type show that has like a kid that's just non-binary in it?
Well, Marvel does that all the time now. They don't say non-binary, but that's what I was trying to say. But they just throw in a kid that's like a girl with short hair that's like tough,
Yeah.
and they're like trying to, you know what I mean? Or like there was a really funny line in Love and Thunder Thor where it was a kid. It was like Heimdall's or whatever his fucking name is, his son.
Yeah.
He named him, Lothric or whatever the fuck. And he was like, no, my name is like Flame.
Oh, I forgot about
And
that.
then Thor was like, no, your dad gave you a great name. Why are you changing your name? And he's like, well, because I want to. And then they were like, okay, I respect you.
I forgot about that.
And then it went into an action scene or something.
That's so cringy. Oh my god.
It's kind of sweet because, like, it's funny because, like, everybody, like, people who are involved in or know about insignificant Marvel releases who are fucking, nerds like us. I don't consider myself a Marvel fan, but I know about and see most of the new releases, so
I'm just up to date.
I guess it is what it is. Whatever. But, like, the thing is that if I was 27 whenever the fuck the first Iron Man came out,
Yeah.
I probably would have thought that was a wicked embarrassing movie too.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been like, wow, this is so fucking dumb and embarrassing and cheesy. But I grew up with Marvel movies always being there.
Yeah.
So I think I wrongly look back on the old ones as if, oh, those were just regular superhero movies. Now the ones they make are super dorky and bubblegum and are clearly meant to be laughed at by kids and parents.
Well, the thing is,
But
the
that's
old
probably
ones,
how they all were, right?
I don't think so. I think there was also a shift in flavor because I feel like when you
Yeah.
watch the old ones, they exist within the sphere of like freshly well, actually maybe not freshly because it was like
9/11.
2007, but yeah, it was like early 2000s America.
Yeah.
It was all like, if you think about it, like Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, like those, it was all like military propaganda.
It was.
It was like
It was
John
very
Wick, but superheroes.
Yeah, it was
all of
like
it.
John Wick, where they don't actually, there's no like blood skull crushing sounds. Like,
Well,
I think
I
John
don't know.
Wick's a little more adult because, like, the people are dying and they're bad guys.
I mean,
But in Marvel, it's like,
do you early Marvel was very much that. They just didn't have the
Really?
blood on the screen, but there were like, I can think of a scene of Black Widow right now where she killed like 40 guys by like thigh
That's
crunching their
true.
skulls.
okay,
It's
yeah,
just
maybe
not-
there is like bone death. crunch
Yeah.
sound.
But they show her, they don't show the person dying since Marvel.
Yeah.
But that was very much the flavor. And now it's like talking animals on screen, like way more representation, like it's partially for kids, pretty much mostly for
Yeah.
kids. They're family movies now versus like cool guy movies.
I
I
was.
feel like they were corny cool guy
Yeah,
movies
and for
before.
anybody listening that has no idea like what we mean, take for example what you know to be a Marvel movie right now, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and compare it to the first Iron Man, which was him. The bad guys in that movie were like terrorists from Iraq
Yeah.
that the Iron Man was like hunting down to like kill the bad terrorist guy. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
there's
it was
been a
not
genre
the same
shift.
vibe.
There's been a genre shift. Now it's like terrorists from the space.
Yeah, right. It's like a blue guy with a mohawk
Yeah.
that has like an eye patch. He's like, hey, I'm the bad guy.
Like the enemies in Marvel at one point were just actually Nazis.
Right. Oh yeah. Then Captain America days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They really don't do that anymore. That's actually such a strange thought. What the fuck happened to Hydra? Like the Hydra
in
shield
canon,
shit they were doing and Marvel is like gone.
I think in canon, what they said, like the writing reason, spoilers if you care, is that
Fuck 'em.
there's like intergalactic threats now, so the scope has gotten larger. So maybe they'd bring Hydra back at some point, but like there's so many other planets for bad shit to come from that Earth isn't the biggest concern anymore.
Yeah, it kind of feels like somebody like it's like wackadoodle time Star Wars.
Yeah,
Like it's like Star Wars but neon bubblegum Star Wars.
yeah.
Hmm.
Which is interesting because
Whatever.
they like, I don't know, maybe it was a little bit too political for a family audience.
Another thing
they
too
thought.
is it's like what kind of like lame dumbass would be mad about this too, because like there is literally like infinite adult content out there for anybody to enjoy at any time.
Well,
Like you can enjoy all of the best like amazing stories, but like comic books, like Spider-Man, Marvel, all of this shit has been for kids since like 1930.
yeah.
It's like, what are we talking about here? This is for kids. It's been kid stuff the whole time.
Well, the other thing too, I know I just said that it wasn't for families, but maybe now that I'm thinking about it, maybe the flavor of what a family movie has changed since
Definitely.
2005.
Definitely.
Like
yeah.
that was the vibe then,
Right.
apparently, for America.
I feel like what a family movie was back then, like for example, comically racist remarks were okay. The odd homophobic gay joke was funny and appreciated by the family movie audience. Implied sex scenes that only the parents would know. That's what the movie was implying.
Yeah,
Like the kind of movies where the movie like winks at the parents
yeah.
and the kids are like oblivious to whatever like dirty joke happened.
Or that like weird line that a lot of movies from then in like the 90s and 80s too, where it's like young kid who is the head of the cast has a crush on hot adult woman throughout the whole movie, and at the end maybe she like winks at him and you're like, whoa,
Or, like kisses him on the cheek.
yeah, what the fuck. There's a lot of tropes that I think have disappeared, and we've replaced them with
Right.
maybe aliens and talking cats.
Yeah, now it's. I mean, like if I had a 4-year-old that I was like taking to a movie premiere, and the kid like wore a cape and something and shit and dressed up for it, and the movie had like racism and weird like sex jokes in it, I'd be like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, wouldn't you be pissed?
Yeah.
Like, not even to be like, you know, hysterical and soft about. Like, I don't know. Like,
Soft?
I'm just saying, like, some movies have like dumb shit in them that you overlook because you want to like it.
Yeah.
That happen, you know, it is what it is.
Some shit's over the line.
Yeah,
some
but
shit's just
some
over the
shit's
line.
Way over the line. It kind of makes you remember like being a kid. I think like you'd have friends where they'd be like, "Oh, my parents would never let me watch this," and you're like, "Wow, your life must fucking suck." But like, I don't know. Like my mom used to show me shit that would like traumatize me. You know, like have you ever seen Friday the 13th, like the original one?
I wasn't allowed
Kevin
to watch
Bacon.
movies like that as a kid.
My mom showed me that when I was like 8, and it's literally just like a like boobs out slasher where people like smoke weed and get drunk.
I still don't think I've ever seen
an
that.
adult, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's literally, I mean, movies like that is like, it's like that. You know, it's really hard to watch classic horror like that because they're the movies that made the tropes,
Yeah.
so they suck and they're wicked predictable. But
That's
it's
kind of cool, though.
But it's only because they were the first people to do it.
Dude, you know what you've never seen still that we
What?
keep talking about? I keep forgetting is Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, I only saw the new release.
which is such a shame, honestly.
What is it? Evil Dead 4 is the new one?
Yeah, whichever one was in theaters like last year, or
No, the one that was in theaters like a month ago.
That wasn't a month ago.
Dude, we literally went to the movies with Noah to see that like a month or two ago.
It was like recent. I don't know.
Did you say last year?
I don't know,
Are
dude.
you fucking serious? That was in like June.
No way.
It was absolute. It was like 3 weeks ago, Theo.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Well, you've only seen that one, which is really a shame because that is like that's one of those movies that there's a lot of tropes, like even just like camera angles and visual references that are referenced in like so many other movies after that. Like it really formed its own style that if you haven't seen it, like when I watched it the first time, I recognized a lot of things from it that I'd seen in other movies because it's so foundational. But it was like sort of an indie movie to begin with. It also had like a very low budget, so all of the practical effects are like real. Like they drop shit on the actors and like punch them down the stairs and stuff, and it's just like actually true. And the actors were like the director's friends. Thanks for that really engaged response. That was great.
Yeah, no, I think the engineering of practical effects is cool. I'm sorry, I was thinking about John Wick stunts for some reason.
Awesome. Did you hear what I said?
You were talking about how the Evil Dead original movies pioneered a lot of actual sick stylistic filmmaking things.
Yeah, but did you hear what I said after that? Because you would have thought it was cool.
What?
You
That they threw the actors on the stairs and threw stuff at them and hit them?
Okay.
That is what you said, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen behind the scenes shots of the John Wick movies?
No.
Because there's actually one that went viral on TikTok a while ago that was kind of sick, where they actually were having the stuntmen like literally run and roll down like entire flights of stairs.
That's crazy.
Like they were wearing like pads and shit, and like they're like professionally falling, so they're not like getting hurt.
Yeah.
But like literally like the equivalent of a guy just fucking diving and roll diving down an escalator.
Wow.
Like, can you imagine fucking doing that? And you know those guys aren't like millionaires. They probably are making like $60,000 a year, which is good money, but
yeah, it's really good.
You know, they're stuntmen for filming like one scene. Like that can't be like, I don't know. Maybe stuntmen are fucking rolling in money. Who knows?
I don't know.
How much do you think a stuntman makes? You should Google that. Look up stuntman salary.
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing. I was just saying, like, that. Never mind.
I'm sorry.
I was trying to say they aren't stuntmen. They didn't have pads or anything. That's why it was cool.
Oh, it was just like guerrilla indie film psycho behavior.
Because they didn't have a budget.
I see.
Never
This
mind.
is what. Hey.
What?
Come on. I'm sorry. Will you accept my apology? I love you.
I love you too. It's actually very low.
Are you mad at me? I'm sorry. What is stuntman? What does a stuntman make?
Wait, percentiles? So the salaries for a stuntman in the U.S. range from $10,000 a year to $269,000 a year, with the average being $47,000.
So it sounds like most of them are probably just crazy people that make YouTube videos, and like 8 of them work for like Marvel.
Stuntman pay starts at $4,000 a week. I guess it really depends on where you are.
Yeah, I would guess there's probably, if I had to completely make up an answer to that right now,
Roughly $23 an hour.
I would say that there's probably one company that employs stuntmen that does work with all of the studios. And that company makes a fuckload of money, and they just pay some people pretty good money. It's probably not great.
Interesting.
It's probably a sick life, though. I mean, can you imagine that? That was one of my life goals when I was like 5, was to be a stuntman. I wanted to be a stuntman, pro skater, rock star, author.
That makes sense for you.
That's like, I think pretty much what most of it. I don't think I really knew I didn't really know about I had always drawn and made art and stuff, but I didn't really know about art yet. I think when I was a little kid, I thought that like everybody drew, like that's just something people do.
Well, when you're a little kid, that's kind of true.
Yeah, I guess so.
All little kids draw.
And I didn't know that. I don't think I was good at it when I was a kid. Like there was always like a kid in class that could draw a sick eyeball. or like draw anime really good, and everyone was like, dude, like Alyssa, best artist in the world, she can draw Sasuke perfectly.
Yeah.
And I was not that kid.
When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a fashion designer and the world's youngest published author. And I wanted to move to New York City.
Dude, you know what's funny? In like high school, I think I also wanted to be like yeah. Do you think that there's like a lot of teenagers? Like, what do you make of that? Like kids who kind of get hung up on the idea of wanting to be the world's youngest something. Like, I feel like that's really common, where people want to be like, I want to be the first kid to like climb this place, or like
Yeah.
be the youngest kid to make it to the NHL or something.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's really common. Do you think so?
Yeah, it probably is.
Why do you think that happens?
I don't know. People like to be exceptional, I guess. And it seems like an easy bag that if you're like, well, I'm good at this thing and I happen to be very young. Like, maybe I can get really good really fast and be the youngest.
Yeah.
What?
Are you hungry?
Kinda.
I'm hungry. What did we eat today? Should we go over it? Should we have an itinerary of what we ate?
We didn't eat much, to be honest.
All right. We woke up. I ate 3 eggs and toast. Is 3 eggs too many?
No. Well, were they scrambled or were they hard boiled?
Scrambled.
No. Scrambling dissolves your eggs. You need
How
at least a
the fuck
couple.
does it dissolve the egg?
Think about it. You get way more egg when you do sunny side up than you do when you scramble. They always disappear a little bit.
How does that work?
Maybe some of the liquid in the egg evaporates off as it's cooking. I don't know. They get smaller, though.
Okay, we can move on from this.
It's true.
So you think that if I took like a food scale and I weighed a hard-boiled egg, it would weigh more than 1 egg scrambled? Hard-boiled egg with no shell.
Actually, yeah, I kind of do. But that wasn't what I was saying.
Oh.
I was saying that if you make eggs over easy and you made like 3 of them, it would take up your whole plate and it would take you longer to eat. And if you scrambled 3 eggs, it would be small and just be in the corner of your plate.
I've been pretty much over easy eggs as well.
Yeah.
I'm done
you're
with
done
them.
with them?
I'm done with them for now.
Mm.
It just makes me... I think I just ate over easy or over medium eggs every day for like 2 years straight.
Yeah.
And now they make me want to throw up. I don't know if you noticed the breakfast transition.
I did notice
But
it's changed.
we're no more over easy eggs.
Brian's the breakfast guy in this relationship.
I make breakfast for you every day.
Now
I really do.
that we live together, that's like literally true. Unless I'm driving to work.
Yeah.
If I'm driving to work and you're still sleeping, then I go to Doug's.
Then you go, no, don't cook for me. I don't want to eat anything. I'm depressed.
Shut up.
I have
That's
to
not
go
true.
to work.
If I'm going to work, you don't wake up until after I'm gone. I say,
true.
bye, see you later. And you go, I'm in bed.
Bye.
Bye.
And then I go to work.
And then I go to work.
Fucking. Shit, dude.
I like my job. I'm glad that I have this job, but it would be so sick if I were a millionaire.
Yeah. How long do you think, like, I mean, we could probably figure this out with math, like, pretty easily, but if you had $1 million cap, like, that's it, like,
Yeah.
that's hard stop, and you lived alone in an apartment that was, like, $2,500 a month or $2,500 or something,
Yeah.
that'd be how long are you really, like, plus groceries, travel, car, you know, phone bills, whatever. Like, how long are you coasting on $1 million? Like, really? Like, I mean, I could see maybe if you lived extremely frugal and you didn't have a lot of bills, you could probably make it to the end of your life with $1 million without working again.
Yeah.
Maybe. But if you were, like, living with the average expenses and expenditure, and you weren't buying a Rolex every week or something and driving a Lamborghini, like, you just lived regular, like, do you think, how long, I don't know, like 10, 15 years, 20 years?
According to my quick calculator math, you could pay for $2,500 rent for approximately 30 years on $1 million. Assuming you had no further income and your rent didn't go down. That's also not calculating any other expenses.
Yeah, and $2,500 in Boston for one person, it's expensive here, but that you'd still have a fucking nice ass place probably.
$2,500?
Yeah, right?
If you were living alone?
You think not?
That's standard for like a studio.
Oh.
That's like the beginning rental market rate.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Absolutely not. If you want a nice place in Boston, you're paying like $4,000 a month.
Yeah, I think on my place in Brighton, I did the math. It was like a 5-bedroom, and it was like over $5,000 a month for the collected tenants' rent. Wow.
Have you ever done the math of adding up the monthly rent and seeing what it costs you a year to pay rent in a city?
No, I haven't. People always talk about like making a budget and budgeting and stuff, and I use that word too, but I don't have a budget and I don't know how to make one.
I could do that for you easily.
Yeah, but like, what would I even gain?
Well, you're kind of hard to budget for because you don't have like a standard weekly or monthly income. Like, it just depends on how many hours you work. But if you set a goal for how much money you had to make in a certain week, you could sort of automate your finances. That's what I do. Because with my job, I have a set salary, right? So I know I'm getting this much money per month and this much money on these days. So I set up my bills to auto pay so that I spend about like a reasonable amount. I actually have them fucked up right now where most of my bills come out on one of my biweeklies and the other one is just like tons of money that just has to go into the next bill.
Fuck.
So I'm going to fix that eventually. But it's supposed to be that you put half your bills on each paycheck if you're being paid biweekly so that you have your bill money paid, it's set, squared away, and then you have a little extra money for savings or to buy whatever you need to buy, and then the same thing for the next week or the next paycheck so that you always are putting away the same amount of money every month. I also have mine set up so that a certain amount of my paycheck automatically goes into my emergency savings, so
Right.
I don't even see that. It just immediately goes in there. And I calculate it out so that I don't even think about that. I just pretend that I make less money than I do in my own head. And then I also put in savings whatever I can from the remainder of my spending money for the week when my next paycheck comes in.
I wonder if I should make an emergency savings account. Because
You
I
have
don't
one.
have that. I just only have a...
Well, I mean, all of my savings are in the same place because I don't have that much money.
You think there's any just fucking, like, absolute lunatic out there that only just has a checking account
Oh, you would
with
be
just
fucking
shitloads
surprised.
of money in it?
Yeah,
Just
dude.
their paycheck, just everything goes into one account, and they pay bills out of it, and their check goes to it, and all of their credit cards are connected to it.
That's actually, like, more common than you would think that
Really?
it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's nutty, dude. I would not do that.
Well, a lot of people
What
don't
if your
realize...
shit identity got stolen?
That's true.
You'd be fucking done for.
You have to remember, though, a lot of people that use, like, banks are, like, people who don't even understand online banking. Like, older people, maybe, or people that
Yeah,
aren't...
old people.
Also, the regulations for
protect old
banks are
people.
different by country. They're different by bank. They're different, like banks are considered a retail sphere because different kinds of checking accounts are considered different banking products, and they have different benefits and different like interest rates and different fees. So if you recently started a new bank and you were from a different country, maybe, or if you were from like, even if you're just from a different bank, it can be a completely different situation. Like, if you go overseas and overdraw your bank account, something different will probably happen to you at your bank than would happen at mine. And the average consumer doesn't read the fine print. They just go in and open an account.
I don't read the fine print.
Yeah.
You know what's been my feeling about banks is that if you are like a credit union or a regular local bank, you're very safe. But if you go to one of those ones that are like fancy, like banks that run ads on YouTube or something, then it's like sketchy, and you're gonna lose a bunch of money. Like Chase Bank, or I'm like, oh my god, like that seems like scary to me. Like the cafe banks and stuff.
Interesting.
I don't know. I feel like that's just a completely baseless, wacky opinion that I have. But I
It
feel
might
like,
be.
like I feel like the bank should be like a dusty place from the 70s where old people and high schoolers work there, and it's not like flashy with commercials and celebrity endorsements. Like that just freaks me out.
Well, if you're talking about a bank that's like an online only bank that's like a startup that recently was created so that you could get like a special debit card that you automatically deposit your paycheck to, like that kind of shit.
Yeah, bad.
That's weird.
That sounds very bad.
Yeah.
It just
A lot of
sounds
those
like
exist.
It sounds like just like the 2021 crypto nightmare time where
Yeah.
just everybody just burned all of their money We all said, let's all take our money out of the bank and burn it.
All of us said that?
Everybody.
Mm.
Yep, not me though. Not me. I wasn't on that train. Nah, I didn't lose. Get the you fucking dumbass. So he stops.
Oh my
you,
god,
idiot!
I love when the person like stops on the highway and then yells at you out of their car window. Like your car should not stop moving on the highway.
I probably just gave that person a panic attack, but they were on the on-ramp going like 15 miles an hour trying to cut me off.
Yeah.
So my philosophy is just fucking get the fuck out of the way or slow down.
Well, they did slow down.
Well, no, I don't know. Either Jesus Christ.
They stopped actually.
Like either go 100 or get the fuck out of the way. Is that a crazy policy?
I mean, if you're merging onto the highway, you should be going highway speed or just wait to merge.
Fuck.
Yeah, either go in front of the car at the speed the car is going or go behind the car slower. Don't stop traffic. Because that's not yielding.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have a meta podcasting question for you.
Okay.
Are you aware that there's like a handful or a number of like mildly popular talk show podcast type things that the whole center shtick of the show is that they're in a car driving and talking?
Really?
Yeah. Like there's a handful, right? There's even that Jerry Seinfeld one.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like comedians in cars.
Yeah.
Like meta, but I wonder if like
this is part of our shtick.
Like I mean probably like 99% of our episodes are in a car.
That's true.
So I'm just kind of like, I wonder if there's any value, untapped value there in us like saying, hey, we're in a car. Oh, more crazy motorcycle people.
I always think it's funny when people are so surprised by that. Like, I feel like I've had a bunch of conversations with people where I've like been talking about the podcast and they're like, where do you record? And I'm like, in the car. And they're like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, why do you do that? And I'm like, because we don't have another place to record.
Yeah.
There's a rental crisis happening.
Right.
There are other people in my house and it's loud.
Yeah, it's kind of like, for example, kind of unrelated, but the rapper or indie musician, whatever, Hobo Johnson, famously hated by everybody.
By me.
And his first album, which is like, if you listen to it, it sounds like a studio album.
Yeah.
But he literally recorded it in his car.
Yeah.
And to me, as somebody who knows a thing or two about recording, that sounds completely reasonable and feasible and possible to do.
To record an album in your car?
Absolutely. It's an airtight, small, enclosed space with electricity.
Yeah, that's true.
Why couldn't you record an album in a car?
It's kind of a recording booth.
It's literally the size of a recording booth. You just get an AC adapter and you can plug everything in.
Yeah.
Park it anywhere. Like, it's really not that crazy to me. Unless it's like 100 degrees out, because you probably can't be doing it with it running, because then you'd hear the hum of the engine and the AC and all, whatever.
Which the listener can probably hear now. We've done that. We've recorded in my car without air conditioning in some early episodes and literally almost passed out and had to stop recording.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that is that if we had a real audio setup or
an air conditioner.
Well, here's the thing. With the right equipment, there could be a lot of ambient background noise that wouldn't be picked up. Like if we just had like if we had the right mics, like like that stupid Yeti mic that we use in my room.
Yeah.
That one is a good quality mic. Like it's just a very basic condenser mic. But the problem is it records everything indiscriminately. So it's picking up a fucking door closing on the inside of the house, a dog howling in the distance. Like, it's just picking up everything.
Yeah.
But there are some mics that record at that quality, but it's somehow only picking up you.
That's cool.
I don't understand how any of the science works, but there's some good shit out there, is all I'm saying.
That's cool.
So, one day.
If only we had better mics.
I'm slowly building up my recording inventory the way that, like a general contractor builds up their
trailer
inventory of their trailer, right? So we're getting there.
That's cool. Oh my god!
Would you just throw your mic?
I unclipped it by accident. I was playing with the clip and I threw it. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Anyway, whatever.
This whole conversation started with you asking me what we've been up to. We didn't really get into it.
Yeah, I mean, we did take a little bit of a vacation where we were coming off of your gallery show that was so much fun, and so, you know, we learned so much and did some sick shit. Or you did. I was just kind of there hanging out. And that was so much work and so demanding. Like, it cost so much, like, labor-wise, that I think we needed a few days to just do nothing. Like, you've been doing embroidery and hanging out, and we've been hanging out with Milo and getting him situated and making him happy. And
yeah, I moved for the first time in like 3 years.
You moved, man, and like
mostly. I'm not totally done yet, but
yeah, it's taken some time to fully transition. But you know, I was kind of worried about like the fact that you have so much stuff and that I have so much stuff. We're both materialistic, not in like some negative way, but we both like things. Like we both collect. We have shitloads of paintings, clothes. Like, so I was kind of worried about that. And the process isn't even close to being complete, but I feel like you didn't really have to get rid of all of your stuff or anything. Like, it's all just fitting in nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's all just like fine. Like, I was like panicking. Like, I'm like, oh, I have to like throw away everything I own.
Oh my God, no.
And so does Theo, and we're going to have to start from scratch. But it's like, chill. It's like,
I also
like whatever.
Don't really have that much stuff. Like, I haven't moved in a couple of years, but I also have had like a weird kind of lifestyle since living on the South Shore where I'm really far away from, I was like 30 minutes from your house, which I spent a lot of time at, and I was like from my house like almost 2 hours away from my job and where my friends are and where I hang out. So most of my stuff lived in my backpacks, in my car, or like I don't have a lot of home objects because I basically slept at my house, and that was only for part of the week. So I haven't really had a home base in a couple of years other than my car. So it's been really, 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 really good for my mental health to not be doing that anymore.
You have been blossoming.
Well, I just never had any time. And it's like, when you say that, it's like, oh yeah, you're driving a lot or whatever. And that's true. But there's also, like, I don't know if this is true for everybody, if that would just be an insane commute. But for me, there was a lot of heavy lifting in terms of having, like, ADHD, or ADD.
Tomato, tomato.
I don't know. I didn't go to public school. I never got a diagnosis. But everyone in my family does.
I never had a guidance counselor ruin my life.
Yeah. But, yeah. I've had many therapists tell me that I definitely have ADD. And in my lived experience, that's probably true. And based on the observations of my family members, it's probably true, because a lot of them do. And it's really hard for me to transition from one, I don't even know what you would say, like a setting to another setting without some adjustment time. Like, going from being in my office and working at my desk and whatever, like when I get dressed and go to work, I'm at my job, like I could focus on my work and like super focus and get a lot done. It's fine. It's great. And then my friends, I have a lot of friends at my job. I usually go out and hang out in the city for a little bit after work or walk around or whatever. And it's like, all right, that's me in my Boston life. Cool. And then I get in my car and I drive for 2 hours to go home. So it's usually like 8 or 9 p.m. at this point by the time I actually get back to my house after I do whatever I'm doing. Because I also don't get out of work till like almost 7. So fuck around for a little while, maybe buy groceries, go like shopping, whatever I need to do. Assuming I'm not hanging out with people. Go back to my house, it's like nighttime fully already. And cook dinner, wash laundry, whatever. Probably not getting to sleep until like midnight. Not really a lot of time. Like, the driving itself isn't really the issue. It's just the rest of life that just sucks up. Like, when am I going to be drawing or embroidering or whatever? And when I do get home, I'm fucking tired. I've been out of the house for like 15 hours. And usually what would happen is I'd just like eat fast food and watch TikTok and go to bed. And then on the weekends, I'd be with you or I'd be with friends or something. So I haven't had the chance to like relax in a while. And I don't really have that many possessions that were in use. So for a few months before we actually made the move happen, I was getting rid of stuff. I donated a lot of clothes, a lot of objects, and I'm getting rid of a lot of things in this process too. Not like a crazy amount, but it hasn't really been that painful because it wasn't really like I was there. Like I wasn't using it, you know? So it doesn't really matter to me. Like the things that I was using, I'm really accumulating more things now, even though it's a much smaller space. Like I've picked up a bunch of new hobbies, and like I've been doing fiber art stuff and making a lot more things, and I feel like I'm just a lot more present. So that's been really cool because that move happened a month ago now. So probably coinciding with the end of the art show. It was like a week or 2 weeks before that. So a lot of things kind of wound down at the same time for me. And it's just kind of freed up a lot of, not calendar time like the drive time, but a lot of time and a lot of emotional space, I guess.
And people, you can't like really, I feel like you're downplaying how taxing the driving was too, because I mean, any commuters of any meaningful distance will know, like, you can't fucking, like, it's not a time where you can fucking journal.
Yeah.
You're not brushing your hair. You can't look in the mirror and pick at your face. Like, you can't look at a fucking TikTok. Like, you're just fucking sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, you're just sitting there, holding the wheel, looking ahead.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you can listen to a fucking podcast or listen to music, but that gets old. That gets really fucking old.
Another thing, too, is, like, I didn't really talk about this too much. Maybe I have on the podcast, but I got a, like, promotion at my job, like, 7 or 8 months ago now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It literally changed my life.
Wow.
Don't want to downplay that at all, but I don't really talk about what I do on here very much,
Sure.
but I was working, like, it was like a front-facing retail kind of job that was 5 days a week with not a set schedule, and it was, like, almost half the pay that I get now, which wasn't enough. And I was commuting 2 hours to do that, or like an hour and 45 minutes, but still. And I didn't have like a car air conditioner, and I like, I don't know, it was much more expensive because I was eating more lunches at work. I was driving much more, a lot more gas. Gas also was more expensive when I was doing this than it is right now. Just,
it was, wasn't it?
The world was also just fucking me a little bit in that sense.
Yeah, the height of the Ukraine situation, gas was almost like $5 a gallon.
Yeah, and I'm driving like 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that was awesome. And during that time, I also had a broken air conditioner and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like frontlines, which means sometimes you go into work, and anybody who's worked customer service will know this. Sometimes it's very chill and whatever. And sometimes it's like hell on earth. Not through maybe your employer's fault, but people will be people no matter where you are.
People will be people.
Well, there was a lot of times where, and this is like kind of weird to say, I guess, but I think it's also good to be transparent about this, but there were times where I would drive like part of the way home and was too tired to keep driving, so I'd have to like pull over and get a coffee, like take a nap in a parking lot because I was still an hour and a half away from my house. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, shit was bad in the last few years for me.
Yeah.
And now I have a job where I have some work from home days. I have like my time at the job, I'm still there for the same amount of time per day, but I can be a little bit late if there's traffic. Like, there isn't really late, it's just this amount of hours because it's an office job. There's flexibility that like accommodates my humanness. Right. Which is really, really good. And gas is a little bit cheaper, and now I've moved a little bit closer. Yeah. So my life is kind of less impossible than it was before, which is really, really good. I don't know. It's just weird because I feel like I'm kind of private about this stuff a lot of the time, but I think that it really impacts my art practice. And it's just something I've been thinking about a lot because someone that I was talking to recently said something that I thought was a really interesting statement. It was actually somebody posted this on LinkedIn, but that flex work and the ability to work from home is like a feminist ideal because it allows people to have other life besides their job. And while I don't know, like I think that that's true. I think it's a little bit of a layered take because that's not the reality for everybody. And it's been really weird for me because I've been at this job for less than a year. I've never had a job like this before. And I got kind of lucky in even getting it. But it's really been so life-changing. It's been really interesting to kind of have that advantage because it's really impacted my ability to make art and to participate in a lot of things that I have this year. Like, I've talked to some people recently about the fact that you and I are a lot busier at the podcast than we have been in a while. I have been doing a lot of gallery stuff. You've been doing a lot of gallery stuff this year. But, like, for me, I'm doing my first, like, solo install ever at LTC right now.
This is awesome.
It is, but it's also kind of like, part of me is like, why haven't I done that before? But
yeah, that's a good point, because, like, it's kind of like how there are some famous comedians that are insanely successful and famous that have never done a stand-up special.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because I have always been working like 40 hours a week or more and commuting and whatever. And that's looked a lot of different ways for me. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I have done, but it's just really overwhelming to think about the changes that have happened in the last year or so.
Something that I kind of forgot about for a while that I've, like, said to myself for a very long time is that, like, despite my attraction and interest in the whole, like, tortured artist or, like, psychology of artists and this and that, like, I just straight up cannot and will not make art or do anything creative or productive when my life is fucked up and I'm in shambles and I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Or my relationships are totally fucked up.
Yeah.
Or, like, I can't make stuff when I'm like that.
Yeah.
I'm distracted. I'm lost. Like, things are going wrong. I'm losing money. I'm, like, out of shape. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's not a creative time.
Yeah.
Like, I get creative and have fun and make stuff when I feel really good and when I'm healthy and when I'm doing the right things and I'm, like, you know, I have, like, a good relationship with the people around me.
Mm-hmm. That's
when I'm making art.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I kind of lost sight of that for a while, actually, because I think that probably means for me personally, I haven't been in that dark place for a while.
Which is good. That's great.
I think I was in that. I think I used to think about that a lot. Like, it was something I used to have to tell myself all the time was, you know, because I would get into this weird chicken or the egg thing where I'd be depressed because I'm not making any art.
Mm.
And then you think that the answer to that is like, oh, if I'm just productive, then I won't be depressed anymore.
Yeah.
But there's actually a looming force that you're not depressed because you're not making art, and it's not going to be fixed if you make art.
Yeah.
But there is most likely some other axe hanging above you.
Yeah.
That you have not addressed. That may be anything.
And that's the thing that's like really hard is, for me in the last couple of years, it's been like time constraints because of the necessity of making money within my field.
Yeah.
Which I've been like busy as fuck the whole time. It's not like I haven't been, but it doesn't feel as rewarding at first anyway to be making advancements in your, like, this is what pays my bills career path as it does to, like, if I'd spent all of that time painting. But if I had been, I wouldn't have the, like, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I make like a shit ton of money or anything. Like, I'm still at an entry-level position in my field, but I have the lifestyle privileges that are benefits of this position that I'd never even dreamed of or thought about even this time last year, that make it possible for me to make art now in a way that I couldn't before because I couldn't afford to. And that's a really fucked up thing to reckon with.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It's fucked up and it's complicated because when it's like, why haven't you done XYZ thing? There are a lot of reasons that could be. It could be that you're, like, not confident. It could be that you haven't had access, but it could be that you haven't had access not in a networking sense, or, like, not because you didn't know how, but because you don't have time. And I think that it's really interesting because for me, something that's been happening with my commute is, like, the reason the driving part, I feel like I downplay it sometimes, is because that wasn't even the worst part. It was that as soon as I get out of the car and I get in my house, I'm not home yet, you know? Like, it still takes, like, an hour of, like, I'm going to get changed into my clothes for my house. I'm going to clean my room a little bit. I'm going to hang out with my cat, decompress, like, calm down after driving for so long. I'm probably exhausted after, like, dissociating on my windshield for 2 hours. Like, maybe eat some food, whatever. So if you get home at 9 p.m., you're finally back in your body at, like, 10 o'clock. And then you have to get up for work at 7 a.m., like, it's not like when you clock out of your shift before your commute home that you're done with your job. There's other time that you have to factor into your lifestyle cost, you know?
Yeah, and it's something that I've fucked up a lot is when I get into a pattern of that where it's just like, I wonder what you could call that, where it's like you end up like, there's a bunch of time before you go to work that you can't use for things you'd like,
Yeah.
and a bunch of time after work that you can't use for things you like. Maybe it's car maintenance, self-maintenance, cleaning your house, meal prepping, whatever the fuck it is, cleaning out your fucking car. Like, I don't know, whatever these things are that you have to do.
Which all comes before art making also.
Exactly. But, it's something that's like a dark side that can happen is you just stop doing all of that shit.
Yep.
And you only do your job, let everything else fall apart, and do what you like.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe you just only play video games and work, and and like you haven't like seen any of your friends in like months. Like, I don't know, like you like skipped your fucking grandma's birthday party because you're playing video games. Like, I don't, what the fuck is going on? Is there like a funeral on the road or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, it's like slow cars with flags, whatever.
Oh, it's the 5th of July.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's some
just that.
patriotic thing. But yeah, like that's like even so, it's like it's kind of interesting because it's like you either lose leisure and time, and it's like leisure time is such a shitty way to put that, but I can't think of a better, because what leisure time actually is fucking humanity time.
Yeah.
It's like what makes you you. It's like when you're in like a group therapy and they say, can you tell us one thing about yourself? Like you're not going to say like,
I do my laundry on Tuesdays.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I change my oil myself and put air in my tires every couple weeks so I have a slow leak. Like you're gonna fucking say like, I have a rapport with the guy at Jiffy Lube. No, you're gonna like say I'm an artist, or like I love to sing. I like to go on hikes and sing while I'm hiking because there's no one around. I don't know, like
that's the thing.
So it's like fucking sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's so important is like I think something that I learned this really recently. Like this has been my focus for a while because I've always worked really hard, and something that I learned kind of young being like a server working in like a beach town is that if I work my fucking ass off and if I just deal with bullshit and like just do the best that I can for like 13 hours at a time, I can go home with enough money or enough cash to pay my bills and be fine. So I kind of internalized that like work ethic equals like survival, and I think that that's true to a degree, but it's also like a really like labor oriented way to survive, which isn't really sustainable if you're not like 18 and don't sleep. Like, that's not really like a good way to think about it.
Yeah, I haven't done that in a while.
Well, that's kind of what I've always had to do because that's kind of like the work that I had been qualified to do. But in the last few years, like part of the reason that I moved to the South Shore in the first place and why I moved out of Boston is because it was getting too expensive for me to keep up with that with just labor. Like clocking in, working an hourly job, and clocking out. I couldn't sell enough of my life to pay my bills. And I realized that I needed to have a longer game than that, which is why I've been doing this commute instead of working somewhere closer to home for maybe more money hourly, because this was a long-term plan of trying to get that flex work and trying to get that higher salary, which would be a longer-term safety net plan. And it finally has started to pay off recently, which is why I started, like 7 months ago was January, right? I started set up for curation for holding space in February.
Ooh.
Because I had the time.
Oh, yeah, good point, actually.
Like, I would have been doing that shit the whole time, but I was focusing on being able to have the space mentally to do it. And once you gain that on your resume, you can't really get it taken back again. You know what I mean? Like, you could lose that job, but you could apply for another job with the same qualifications and say, I've done this before, this is what I was making, this is the schedule I'm looking for. And if you've already done it before, you're much more likely to be able to do it again. And I think that I haven't thought about it like that before. I've just gone to whatever would pay me the most and worked my ass off for the most amount of hours, for the most amount of dollars. And there's been a lot of sacrifice for me in the last few years that felt really shitty. And like, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, which is why I'm talking about it now, in a way where I felt very hopeless and negative about it because it hadn't paid off yet, but it's starting to.
Congratulations, Theo. That's amazing.
Thanks.
This kind of reminds me of when we watch shows a lot, kind of like Lost, actually.
Yeah.
Me and you always laugh about, we call them Archie Andrews characters, which are characters that just freak out in any conflict and just punch people or break stuff
Yeah.
when they don't like have any like political instinct or like tactical instinct at all. They just are like "Argh!" and just do something dumb. It's kind of like that's maybe that's kind of what a lot of us do, and with our jobs in a sense, is we aren't really deploying a tactical instinct like of leveraging our experiences and leveraging our knowledge and how to reflect that in your resume or whatever, like, and just running to wherever the money is despite your best interest or health.
Yeah.
While maybe there could be a more nuanced and intelligent path forward.
Well, here's the other thing about that too, that if you think about that in terms of like, what does this have to do with my art? It is true that if you work like a customer service job or a labor job or something that pays you like, maybe you can find something that pays you like $20 an hour, or you get tips or something and it comes out to like that much. That's sick. Like, that's awesome and that's hard work. But your income is dependent on the hours worked, which are hours not spent not working, which are hours not spent doing your life maintenance shit, like putting air in your tires and like cleaning out your car and cleaning your room and doing your laundry, which are hours definitely not spent doing your creative thing.
Yeah.
So if you can find a ladder out of that hole and figure out a way to, like, my number one focus in job benefits is maximum dollars for minimum time. Like, I take pride in the work that I do, and I do try to do a good job when I step to anything. But I think that I'm the kind of person that can get a lot done in a small window of time. Like, I don't need to sit in a chair for 12 hours to get done all the tasks that you need me to do. And there are a lot of jobs, especially post-COVID with remote work, that do recognize that. But they're obviously very highly sought after by a lot of people. So you just have to figure out the way to get in there.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, because it's kind of like only the strong survive. Like, because there's probably people like really trying to hire remote workers during COVID when it really mattered.
Yeah.
And now it's probably like most people are probably like really fucking trying to get those jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah. Huh.
I mean, who wouldn't want a job where you don't have to go to work?
Do you think they like make all of the people they don't pay a lot or care about come in and let the important high paid people stay home? Is that like seems to be the dynamic at most places with an office structure? Like, if you worked at like the Office Max fucking corporate location or whatever.
I don't think so. I think it just depends on the business. But I think a lot of places, like, at least what you would hope is that a lot of places are, the morale is like a big part of that idea. Like, if you're working at a place where everybody has to be in the office except the people that are getting paid a ton, they're probably going to be less likely to want to stay if you're all like in the same room and they know that you're not at your desk, Yeah. Like, that's not really a great way to be a leader.
You mean like if all the high paid snooty people were right there in front of them?
Well, that's how a lot of offices are. But if you're in a place that's like a multi-level institution that has like offices upstairs but people working the phones and the call center downstairs, very likely there is people that are going to be there all the time that are in a different department, quote unquote. But I feel like, I don't know. It really depends on the business. That's kind of a case-by-case thing.
Isn't it so funny that, like, my entire life, and probably the entire lives of many people listening, like, everybody always hears, like, oh, like, I don't want to work in an office. I want to fucking kill myself. Like, fuck that. Like, that's the worst. Like, this idea that if they work in an office, that'll be, like, hell and a waste of their life. Meanwhile, like, if you have an office job in 2023, you probably have mad money. You're in AC all day. You have like 3 work from home days. It's like fucking awesome. Like, it's like the only job. Like, like for me, actually, I don't know what to say. I'm just saying, like, it's funny that I'm not saying that's like necessarily your experience either, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like office jobs have had this like absurd stigma.
Yeah.
Like, maybe there are a lot of office jobs out there that are absolutely hell. I have no idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, again, it probably depends on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah,
but also,
true.
A lot of that stigma probably comes from, like, I don't think hybrid work was, like, a thing before COVID.
Definitely not. That was probably only, like, something for, like, executives and shit.
It's also, like, kind of a newer thing to do, like, business cash or like jeans in the office. Like
Right.
jeans, sneakers, and like a sweater vest at your desk is like a very like late millennial Gen Z office culture thing. Like that's not like in like 2005 or something, you would be 9 to 5, probably unpaid overtime, like suit and tie in a gray cube office. That was like probably standard. But now it's like my office has like puzzles, we do ice cream socials, like I don't know, sometimes things are nice.
Right.
And that's what you want, you know. But
did you know it like have you ever seen like those videos of like Silicon Valley, like Google offices where they have like little like sleeping pods and like like fucking like I don't know. Can you imagine if you just like were at your job and you just worked for like 16 hours and you could just get in a little like LED lit up nice pod with like white noise and just like sleep for 8 hours and then just wake up and
yeah, that's hell.
Well, I mean, it looks sick though.
Does it?
I'm not saying like
you don't want to go home to like your girlfriend or your cat.
Yeah, but those people probably don't even have those things or need them, right?
Those people are probably forced by their employer to stay there.
I'm talking about people that probably make like close to $1 million a year.
Yeah, but it still comes down to work-life balance. I don't think that anybody who's doing like Excel spreadsheets only wants to do Excel spreadsheets.
Oh, I was talking about like the fancy like vampire lizard people that make apps. I'm just kidding. I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying.
I think that what it comes down to is work-life balance, and you don't have to be in an office for that. Like there are people that are bartenders that make a shit ton of money 3 days a week and then can do whatever they want in the rest of their time. That's another really good gig. But like however you want to do that as a creative, you just need to figure out the way that you're not trading time, you're trading your value as a worker. If you have something that you're really good at that you can get paid for in a certain amount of time and then dip the fuck out of there, go do whatever else you want to do that as much as you can.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. It's like, I feel like this podcast started out way back as almost like Ned's Declassified guide, student survival guide, but for like art people.
Yeah.
But it's like it's kind of funny like how it really is like, you know, we have no business or interest in trying to like teach people like, oh, like this is how you're going to become rich and famous or something. Or like,
I wish I could tell someone
here's
that.
how you blow up as an art. Like we're not like saying shit like that. That's shit's like always a scam or somebody just farming views or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like what we are talking about is just like surviving as a regular person who wants to just make art.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, I have a lot of like eccentric harebrained ideas about like trying to go viral and draw attention to myself. But that's not what being an artist is necessarily.
Yeah.
That's just something I personally am a personal endeavor of mine, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of many routes.
I mean, I wouldn't even consider it a route. It's really just some dumb shit I'm doing on the side.
I don't think so. I think being an entertainer is definitely like, that's kind of what that is, right? It's like online performance stuff.
But it's kind of funny because I feel like episodes like this one and like the last one have felt a little bit rare for me. Like where it's like we're not actually talking about this stuff specifically a lot, and we feel like it's a little bit personal to talk about this stuff. But I wonder if this is actually significantly more valuable and relevant to somebody who would want to listen to an art podcast than we may have thought.
The conversations that I find the absolute most helpful to me that I have with other artists are about money. Because at the end of the day, if you locked me in a room with art supplies, paid my... You know what? They're fucking lockdown. I had this. People just randomly depositing money into my account. I have food, I have shelter, and I just have my art supplies. I know what to fucking do with them. Like, I've been doing this long enough that I can figure it out. I can Google new techniques if I want to. Like, I don't need anybody to tell me how to fucking make things. There's probably somebody who knows more about any medium in the world than me. But I can explore with that. I know how to explore with that. That's what I love to do and what I want to do. The issue is having the freedom and the emotional stability and the financial stability to have access to that as much as I fucking can. As often as possible. You know what I mean? And I feel like you run into so many people, like, no shade, but also tons of shade, especially if you're a femme-presenting person, who want to tell you all day long, up and down, how to make your art. And I do not need feedback on that.
just to specify, you're saying people who do that to femme-presenting people.
That you run into a lot of those people.
Like people who are trying to explain shit to femme-presenting people.
Yeah, or just anybody, but...
I think it might have sounded like you were saying femme-presenting people who do that to people.
No, they experience it.
Gotcha.
That's
okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Well, I'm just saying, like, everybody wants to talk to you about how to paint when you're a painter. Everyone wants to talk to you about how to do ceramics, and they're either asking you or they're telling you, but those aren't really the most beneficial conversations, usually. Sometimes they're fun. Like, it's always good to exchange, like, tools of the trade, but what I need to know that is going to determine whether or not I get to do all of the ideas I have in my head is how do I handle the things that are currently on fire so I can go do whatever I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny because, like,
Like, I can decide to not try crocheting this week. I can't decide to try not eating or not paying my rent or not fixing my car. Like, some shit has to happen, and how can I do that with the least expenditure of labor and money so that I can put that money and time into the 10,000 other things I would prefer to do? Those are the conversations that are, like, actually like a fucking life vest in the ocean.
Yeah, because, like, when you ask people, like, if you had, like, $1 billion right now, what would you do? And none of those people are like, oh, it would work. They're like, I would buy a giraffe. Or something. Anyway. But yeah, I feel like I think it's all about freedom and play.
Yeah.
Really, because, like, it's, like, it's the ability to just explore, the freedom to explore and to fuck around and to just see and to do shit. Like, and when you talk about technique being, like, kind of irrelevant, I agree with you, because you ever, like, looking on YouTube and, like, maybe you're, like, just looking at random art videos or something, like, and you stumble across one of those ones that's, like, a highly specified technical video where a person's explaining how to use this, like, oil painting medium and what brushes and how to mix this. And you're like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. You're like, I don't give a fuck. I do not care. I cannot watch this. How does this have 80,000 views?
Yeah.
Who is watching this? This is terrible. I mean, it's great information and it's very hard to learn how to do that, whatever, but what the fuck is this guy doing?
I think they're trying to do three-point turn.
I think there's a random drunk person trying to do a 3-point turn in front of us.
The person in the passenger seat is so embarrassed.
They're, like, in someone's fucking lawn doing a 3-pointer.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, they made it out.
All right, congratulations. But yeah, what you would be more apt to click on rather than, I don't know, maybe there's some people that like this super, super technical shit. But, like, you know, I feel like you're more interested in, people are probably more interested in something that's, like, fun and maybe inspirational or has, like, a very unique and exciting story associated with it, rather than, you know, like, some fucking drama and excitement, rather than, like how it's made, TLC or whatever the fuck.
Oh, I love how it's made, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's
kind of cool.
It's like ASMR, but...
Well, so...
I don't know. I mean, I just said something completely subjective as if it's, like, a fact or something, but...
That's fine.
I just think that, like...
No, I agree with you, though. It's like, those conversations or that content isn't useless. Like, it's still interesting. And, like, if I meet somebody that makes art in another medium or makes art in my medium and they want to talk to me about what they're making, that's sick. I love doing that. That's obviously what we do most of our time. Like, that's why we have this podcast. I'm not saying they're useless conversations or that they're boring, but I get more value out of the information that helps me do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or just stories and personal connection, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm losing track of what we're talking about. What were you about to say?
Well, I was just going to say, like, if you had a little kid that, like, was your kid and you were driving them around to, like, school and, like, daycare or whatever all the time, and you just talked to that kid all the time about all the shit they could do with crayons, but you, like, never let him, like, sit down. He just never draws with crayons because you just always have them in a box in the closet, but you're always telling him new, like, crayon techniques.
Oh my God, can you imagine how terrible
That's what people do all the time. They just talk to people all the time about, like, oh yeah, when I get a chance to sit down and record, like, I'm going to use this equipment, or, like, I just got this new program or whatever. But they don't, like, you're working all the time, you're in the car all the time, you're commuting, you're doing whatever, constantly talking about this craft that you wish you were doing. Like, the value is just figuring out a way any way at all to just get there and do it. Which is why I think that it is more important. Like, obviously, you need enough money to be able to pay your bills, put some in savings, prep yourself for the rest of your life, whatever. Assuming that we've reached that platform, the next most important goal, possibly even the most important goal, because you can make money with that spare time too if you really need to, is figuring out how to get the maximum amount of your life back. Like, you start off life in a time debt.
It's fucked up.
You need to minimize that as much as you can if you have something you're planning to do at that time.
Minimize the time debt.
Can you imagine how sick you would be at anything if you had 40 hours a week to put into it?
Yeah.
Which means if you spent most of your life putting 40 hours a week into working, and if we're in our mid-20s, you probably have been working in a certain field, whether it's food service, customer service, like whatever it is that you do, you've been around the block long enough to have some trade knowledge where you can apply that and figure out how to be exceptional in some way. I do think that that's true, that most people can do that. You want to talk to anybody about whatever job that they have, they know a good way to do it. They know it well enough to train someone else to do it. And most fields have some version of this, where it's like, if you are a waitress, maybe you can get on bar. If you are a cook, maybe you could work for a different restaurant. Maybe you could do your own business. Like, I don't know, I'm not in food service, but you know what I mean? Like, with art, there's versions of that where there's like certain gigs that pay better than other gigs. And if you make sure that you're strategic with your long game, the thing that was hard for me is that I was working lower paying jobs in my field and doing free work for 3 years to get the degree, or not degree, I don't have a degree, the resume qualifications to be able to do a job that paid me more, that would allow me to work from my own home more. And it took a long fucking time, but I got there. And it's just an entry-level job, but eventually that will lead to a different job. And that's the track that I want to be on. But I could have been making more money per hour for the last 3 years doing something else, but I wouldn't have this now. And even if I was getting more money per hour, I still wouldn't be able to make art.
All right, well, that was a good talk.
We got in a fight.
We didn't get in a fight. You
Yes,
were
we did.
bullying me and being a mean jerk.
No, it was kind of your fault.
It was my fault. We got in a fight, so we're going to cut out the fight. The fight's deleted.
It lasted only 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
We came home and we're hungry now. We're gonna eat dinner.
All right, but... Yeah,
Kinda
that's
your
it.
fault, though.
Fuck you. All right. Bye-bye.
Wait.
Fuck
You don't have any closing thoughts on what I
No
said?
closing thoughts. All of the thoughts have been said. Unless you have any closing thoughts. I think we should just let it be.
Let it
Angry
be.
eyebrow,
Let
Theo.
it- Hey, can you play our song as the outro?
Oh, yeah. Let's listen. You guys heard it at the beginning. You're going to hear it again. Here's our song.
People say I'm dumb, but they don't understand me. Walk around at night with a Sprite, just eating candy. If there's cash on the line, I'm going maximum land speed. Write India ink while you're holding down Command C. Look back at my heroes that died in 2013. I still love so many people that tried to hurt me. Wonder if I'm gonna die in 2050. Life changed in a music club called the Mid-East. There's so many people I'll never see again. So many people now gone forever. If I could just reach out or just take your hand. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. People talk shit even when they don't know me. They try to say what's up like they're a lifelong homie. See right through it all like I'm wearing x-ray glasses. You're better at spotting shit the more time passes. I look back to my friends lost to the margins. Where did they go? What did I play a part in? Shit would have been different if I'd known better. Back when I wore ripped jeans, Toms, and a thrifted sweater. There's so many people I'll never see again. So many people now gone forever. If I could just reach out or just take your hand. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. So many people I'll never see again. So many people now gone forever. If I could just reach out or just take your hand. Maybe if I didn't change, things would be better. Maybe if I didn't change.
Haha.
Should I put it on Spotify? Like
Yeah.
right now?
Go
Should I
stream
like, get
it.
on my laptop and put it on Spotify right now?
Yes.
Alright, go stream that shit. Brian Huntress on Spotify. Pizza
Hey, what about
out.
me? Are you gonna make me a Spotify?
I could give you a song. If I give you a songwriting credit on DistroKid, it's going to automatically create an artist profile for Theodora Earthworms.
How does that work? Can I
And then you'll
claim
just
it?
no,
Like with the
it'll
podcast, I had to claim the podcast.
you probably could get a Spotify for Artists account and claim yourself Theodora Earthworms. And then, but you won't be able
Then
to
we can upload my cool song.
But you'll have to pay for DistroKid.
Oh no.
Well, it's not that expensive. It's like $18 a year.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's really not that bad, or something like that. It's like somewhere in between like that, or like maybe it's $30 a year. I forget. Anyway, you know what I was thinking about doing on my DistroKid
What?
or on my Spotify is going on the distro services for Boxer's Jaw and then listing myself as a songwriter, an additional songwriter for all of them, so
it
that all of the
connects.
Boxer's Jaw, yeah, exactly. So they start appearing on my Spotify account
That'd be good.
because Boxer's Jaw is on an indefinite, permanent hiatus.
That'd be good so people could still listen to Boxer Shaw. It'd be streamed like
Yeah,
routed
Nikki
to
probably wouldn't care if I did that. Anyway,
That'd probably be good for both of you guys because you still post content a lot.
I do.
People would find Boxer Shaw through that.
Yeah, I suppose I'll do that. Anywho, Boss at our podcast. Do you have any finishing thoughts?
I hate you.
You hate me?
Yes.
I don't hate you. I love you.
That's not true. You said I hate and then you changed your mind to take the high road.
Yeah, I took the high road to make you look bad.
That's the low road, dummy.
Not to anybody. It's only the
No,
low
yeah,
road
yeah.
if people know that you're being low.
Well, they do.
The low road inside of your heart doesn't matter
You picked the
because
deceptive
nobody
road.
knows.
I'm taking the real high road and just
Fuck.
admitting openly that I hate you.
That's the low road, is being hateful, is being low.
No, it's just honest.
Honesty is not a virtue. It's just, shut the fuck up. I'm done with this dumb argument.
I release the things that don't serve me, like you.
I release you from this podcast. You're
quit
kicked
already.
off.
I quit 5 minutes ago.
I'm going to replace you.
With who?
I don't know. It'd
Good
be-
job, idiot.
Everyone would stop
Irreplaceable.
listening.
Sorry I keep calling you names. It's because I love you.
No, fuck you. All right, we're going to shut this one off. Bye-bye, assholes.
Boston Art Podcast is an independent DIY production by Brian Huntress and Theodora Earthworms. The information contained in this episode represents the views and opinions of the original creators or our guests, and does not represent any institution, organization, or business. Find us on Instagram at Boston Art Podcast, and tune in for a new episode every Friday. Thank you for listening.